Welcome to this very special edition of the KJ Masterclass Live, the show which ensures that you profit from your time spent here with experts, either through their industry insights, information, or simply learning from them. And today we have Josh Peters, author of 13 Ways to Conquer Your Teenage Years, a motivational book that helps teens unlock their potential through motivation and mindset development. And his work focuses on building resilience, emotional intelligence, and the skills for lasting success. Welcome to the show, Josh.
Thank you. Thank you so much for having me. Super excited.
You are welcome. Welcome to the show, Josh. Welcome to India in this online form. And I'm sure not just in India, but a lot of people across the globe will benefit, especially teenagers will benefit from what we'll be talking about. We'll learn from you about how one can achieve success in their teenage years in whatever they want to do. They will learn from you, from your book. We'll talk about all that. But first, let's understand a bit about your journey, your background, so that people know who they are listening to.
Yeah, so my name is Josh Peters. I've been playing football for 10 years. I want to better myself every day. And I'm the author of 13 Ways to Conquer Your Teenage Years. My goal is to help 1 million teenagers in the next 5 years. And yeah, I'm just super passionate about helping young teenagers who went through challenges that I've been through personally. So I'm passionate about helping as many people as I can.
Right. So, Josh, I want to understand from you as a teenager. You're very young, 17, if I understand.
Mhm.
Is it a best of time to be a teen in today's time, or is it not so good time to be a teenager at this point in time?
Yeah, so with technology, it is definitely interesting. It's never been before, with technology. So it's definitely an interesting time to be a teenager. Now, is it good? I'm not sure because I've never been a teenager in other times, so I couldn't compare. But I think it's definitely beneficial to be a teenager in this age if you use it correctly and if you use social media and technology correctly. Um, there is also traps that you can fall into, like comparing yourself to other people on social media, the kind of perfect body, whatever. So it could be dangerous, but you could also use it towards bettering yourself. So
Right. So tell us a bit about teenagers. See, I am thrice your age, and I would not be able to comprehend what present day teenagers uh, are looking at, how they are looking at life. So through your eyes, through your life, I will try and understand and grasp a bit of it. How is it like to be a teenager in today's time? Is it full of challenges? Is it talked about technology, but is technology uh, is what we teenage life is all about? Tell us a bit more in what are the challenges especially for a teenager?
yeah, so it's the basic teenage challenges every generation has to go through, puberty, whatever it is. But the technology definitely has a impact on today's teenagers because there's a lot of depression that comes with technology if you don't know how to use it properly. So a lot of challenges for young teenagers is they want to compare themselves to the perfect body or the perfect kind of aesthetic that they're trying to chase. Um, and the thing is, you can't compare yourself to the perfect person. Sorry, you have to kind of take inspiration from that and use that to build and better yourself. So that's kind of what it's like growing up in this day and age. Is there's a lot of negative, but you can't view it as negative. You have to view it as inspiration and motivation to better yourself.
Right, Josh. In terms of your generation, the teenagers. You are 17. Uh, what is it that you expect out of life? What is it that you? A lot of people say that, this generation is a lot of hope for humanity, that it will be able to fight back the ills that the present generation could not. Do you think they should be hopeful about those things? Do you think they're putting too much of burden on the present generation? What are your thoughts about these
Mm,
things?
that's an interesting question. I think our generation could be extremely impactful to kind of humanity, for sure, if we use it properly. Like if we use especially technology and social media properly, and we don't get too kind of overburdened with technology. But I think our generation is extremely hardworking, just in different ways. So if you look back, 50 years, whatever, the the teenage generation and just people in general were super hardworking, I think physically, but in today's age, people are really hardworking mentally because of technology, and I think people are a lot smarter, much more intellectual um, in today's age. But that's what I think, and I think teenagers have a huge opportunity to be uh, an impactful generation in today's age.
Right. So, do you think your generation is ready to take over all the future of humanity in their hands, or should the present generation wait for a lot of time, let the teenagers live their life, and then they will take their share of responsibilities? How do you
Mm.
want to look at it? Because somewhere I see a lot of people are just talking about that, the new generation is a lot of hope, and I am somehow trying to understand if it's a fair thing to do.
Yeah, so I think, especially in today's day and age, every teenager should be hardworking, and they should kind of strive toward achieving their goals. So I think if you're ready for it as a teenager, go out there in the world and prove yourself. Do the best you can. Um, like we're super hardworking, like I said, mentally, and we have a lot of cool and interesting thoughts toward technology that maybe the older generation doesn't have. Like we have a pretty clear understanding of what technology is. So I think that can really change the world. Um, as long as we take action and actually strive toward your goals, and not kind of, because this generation definitely is a lazier generation, and you'd probably agree with me. Um, but you just have to be conscious about achieving your goals and think exactly what you want out of this life, and you can achieve it as long as you take action.
Why do you call them a lazier generation? Just because technology? See, earlier on when we were hunters, the wheel was not invented. The world used to work differently.
Yeah.
After the wheel, we have got four wheelers, and then the thing went. Now with technology, the present generation is trying to adjust with technology. I want to understand this lazy word better. What way would you want them to see life? Secondly, you talked about technology, that the present generation understands technology better. What do you mean by that? And do you mean, when you talk of technology, is it about artificial intelligence? Help us understand from that perspective. The world wants to know. People like us want to understand the mind of today's teenager.
Yeah, so what I mean by lazy is, due to technology, everything in our lives are just easier. It's simply put like that. It's just easier. So naturally, our minds are not as hardworking and not as kind of active physically. So I think we're definitely lazy, but we're smart, and we can take action if we're smart. So that's what I mean by lazy. And by technology, I think AI is definitely on the rise up at 100%. I think AI will be a huge impact, or very impactful in the next 5 to 10 years, and I think our generation, my generation, is gonna carry that forward and kind of advance it. Um, but that's one part of technology, and the other part is social media, because literally every teenager is on their phones on social media every day. So it's a huge impactful thing in our lives. So the problem is with teenagers, young teenagers who don't know better, is they compare themselves to the ideal person, like I said before, and that's a really big problem because on social media you can hype yourself up and live the perfect life, but you're in reality you're not. So young teenagers who don't know better look at that, and they compare themselves, and they get jealous, they get unmotivated, and they don't want to do anything because of that reason. So you can't compare yourself to the ideal person on social media. And with AI, it's definitely advancing. So that's what I think about that.
Right. What ways the teenager want to connect with the outside world? How do they want to connect with their parents? How do they want to connect with their siblings? How do they want to connect with society, the man on the street? And how do they want to connect with themselves? Help us a bit about that.
Yeah, so I think with our families, it's the same as other generations, but it's also different because I think we're a lot more secluded with ourselves in this modern age due to technology and social media. Um, like we're not playing in the streets anymore. We're not hanging out with friends. We're mainly in our room uh, on social media, and that's a bad thing. You can't seclude yourself from your family and friends. You have to take a break from your phone, from your technology, and take a step into the real world and really figure out what you want out of this life, like what goals. And what's interesting is once you take a break from technology, you really quickly realize what you want out of this life. Like it really just comes to you with real life experiences. You'll find out your interests and your dislikes, and you'll really pinpoint what you want out of this life. So you can't like keep yourself in your room all day and scroll. It's just not healthy. So I think you should spend more time with family and friends, and spend more time with yourself. The more time you spend alone as a young teenager, the better development you're going to have. You're going to think uh, you're going to think better. You're going to understand what you want out of this life and your goals. So the main thing, just spend time with your friends, family, and especially yourself.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Josh, one more thing I want to understand is that at a very young age, you talk about, and teenagers talk about confidence. So I want to understand at this age, everything seems to be very bright. So where does this losing the confidence part come in? I want to understand that. Secondly, you talk about building resilience, emotional intelligence, and skills for lasting success. How do they look at emotional intelligence part? They've just begun their life, and success, even, Josh, it's just the beginning of your life when you are still, your age is to explore a bit of life and then look at things in the way.
Mhm.
Do you think our present day teenagers are putting a lot of undue pressure on themselves that life is there to explore a bit more, and then with that wisdom try and explore it further, and then make your own understanding about life and confidence and resilience and emotional intelligence and everything? Till that time, they should be kids growing up and looking at life.
Yeah, 100%. So in my book, there's 13 ways to conquer your teenage years. And it's basically a kickstart toward your teenage years. and kind of how to live them properly and healthy. And that lines you up towards success. And the main thing teenagers have is they compare themselves not only on social media, but they in real life as well. So it's really impactful that they don't do this, because it will change your life when you stop caring what other people think of you. And when you stop caring what other people think of you, you excel, you just skyrocket beyond every teenager, because you do things that most teenagers won't do. Like, for example, me, no teenager is on a podcast at 7 in the morning, you know? So
That's
it's,
what I said. That's what I said early in the morning before
yeah,
the start.
yeah,
7 o'clock. Right.
exactly. So you have to put yourself out there, and you have to not care what other people think of you, because once you do that, you will succeed. I guarantee that. And the biggest thing is to take action. Most teenagers, they're always on social media, like I've said, and they're always thinking about bettering themselves. If you have that kind of flame in you, you're always you definitely have it. You have it. So you can't constantly think about taking action and not take action. You have to start like today. So do 10 push-ups today. Go eat healthy food, and just start today bettering yourself, because that will carry into other aspects of your life and really benefit you.
Absolutely. And talking of your book, we'll come to the book part also. But first, what inspired your book? At this stage, people want to see life, have life, rather than think of writing a book, that too to inspire other teenagers. Tell
Mhm.
us a bit about your inspiration.
Yeah. So when I was a young teenager, I was dealing with, being overweight and not kind of having a sense of direction in my life. So I had to go through those challenges the hard way, and I really learned the lessons from those challenges. And I didn't want young teenagers, because this is every teenage problem, not having a sense of direction, not knowing their future, being overweight. It's everyone deals with it, every young teenager. So I wrote this book to help these young teenagers kind of have a sense of direction in life, and it's really a kickstart towards finding yourself and bettering yourself, both mentally and physically. So that's kind of my inspiration. I don't want young teenagers to go through the hard struggles that I did when I was younger.
Right. So you have written 30 ways to conquer your teenage years. Would you want to share some ways that you want other teens to, not everyone will be able to buy your book, but there will be many who will buy, but some, if they listen to this episode and they want to learn a few of those 13 things that you mentioned about.
Yeah, so like I said before, the biggest thing is taking action today. Most teenagers, like if you're watching this, there's a good amount of chance that you're watching other forms of content like this about bettering yourself. And if you haven't taken action yet, that's the biggest thing holding you back from success. It's that simple. Like you just need to start today. Um, and it's going to be hard, but once you put in that work, it will all be worth it. So that's the number one thing I have. One piece of advice I have is to just take action and start bettering yourself today.
Take action and start letting. So obviously, is it obvious that it's only for teenagers, or is it also for their parents, or others can also use it?
Yeah, so I mean, anyone can get information and value out of that book, but it's directed for the modern day teenager. But like it's anyone can get help and guidance from that book, but it really will impact the young teenagers who don't know where they're going in life, or maybe they're overweight. It has all sorts of advice directly for young teenagers.
Right. What do you want to achieve for yourself, in life, Josh? You seem to have a very, great head on your shoulders, and I'm sure you must be thinking about a lot of good things. I don't want to say big things, a lot of good things.
Thank you. Yeah. Like I said before, in the next 5 years, I want to help 1 million young teenagers. And I'm really passionate about that. And I strive to better myself every day, and learn every day for these young teenagers. Because when I was in the young teenagers spot when I was young, I really had no idea where I was going, and I was unhealthy. I was overweight, and I don't feel like I don't want to put that on anyone. It's horrible. So I want to really help these teenagers out, and have a be like their guide in life, through my book and through my personal lessons.
Absolutely. And for those people who are keeping their hopes alive with the present generation, with the teenage generation, that is your generation, what would you like to tell those people with so many hopes? Should they have less hopes, or should they can have more hopes?
No, I think you should have as many hopes and aspirations as possible. The bigger the dream you have, the better kind of focus you'll have. So, like I said before, the really stepping into yourself, and finding out who you are, taking a step away from technology, will help you better kind of focus on your dreams and what you really want out of this life. And once you do that, it's simple. You just need an actionable plan to get you to those dreams. And the first step of that is just to take action. Take action and really learn about yourself, through real life experiences, and those two things will help you dramatically in every aspect of your life.
Absolutely. There is much to learn from you, about life, about everything else, about, success in teenage years, all those things. So for those people, who would like to connect with you, learn from you, learn about your book, what's the best way for them to connect with you?
So I have a website. It could be in the link in the
Yes.
description. But that's a good way. You can email me personally, and I will help you out with whatever you need. I'll give you my personal kind of advice from the experiences I've dealt with. And my email is on my website, so that's probably the best way. And I'll be happy to help as many people as I can.
Wonderful. With this, it's a wrap on this very special edition of the KJ Masterclass Live. Thank you so much indeed, uh, for talking to you.
Thank you so much. I had a lot of fun.